Alright, what's up folks? I am Corporal Church and welcome to the channel Operation Defender. So this is a brand new channel. It's kind of an idea I've been working on, considering for a while. And this is my lovely dog slash co-host for the day, Winnie Beatrice Rose. And and I'm Corporal Church. So the whole point of this video is an introductory to what this channel is all about. Like kind of vision, that kind of thing for this whole Operation Defender deal. So before we get into it, we do have a Discord. If you at the end of this video choose you would like to be a part of the Discord, we just ask that you have to be a veteran or a service member. We don't care if it's reserves or National Guard or whatever, or if you've been out for 30 years, like we don't really care. As long as you yourself have some form of a service at one point or another in the armed forces, including now Space Force, which that's just weird to say. I want to be a Space Marine. Anywho, let's just talk about the channel and what our kind of my vision slash goal with this is. So I really have noticed that most people that I have bumped into in the public don't seem to know what the military is, or at least some of the finer points. Like I've had employers in the past need me to explain to them around a dozen times like what the reserves are. I've had folks just have some really bizarre concepts about what it is to either have been in the military, so like requirements to be in, or like stereotypes about what you're like when you get out. And so some friends and I were kind of chatting, and I said, hey, I think I might start a channel dedicated to all things military. And the point of this would be to educate folks about what it's like to go in, what it's like to get out, maybe what you need to do to be in, what you need to be prepared for boot camp, to try and help families think of ways of coping with their loved ones being gone while in boot camp. I know my family kind of took it upon themselves when I was in Marine Corps boot camp to get in shape. Like, that's just kind of what my mom did. She's like, hey, if my son's getting his butt kicked, I guess I want to kick my own butt. And that's what she did. And there's all kinds of different strategies. I want to try and help people figure out like what branches are the best for them. So I would ideally have guest hosts because I'm a Marine Corps veteran. And so while I can talk quite a bit about Marine Corps stuff and that whole culture of how things work in that sector of our little slice of the armed forces, I can't speak a whole lot from personal experience to the other branches. I can look up stats, I can tell you how I observe things from my perspective when watching other branches do stuff. Mostly it was jealousy. But so I'd love to have guests. I would love to have like co-streams and have this be a very, very interactive channel. Now, like the backgrounds and locations I'm in and things like that will probably change because things take money, and that's something that'll happen eventually. I would love to have more of like a armed kind of a feeling with all this whole setting and all that goodness stuff. So now let's just kind of talk a little bit about myself. I guess real quick before we talk about me, if you would like to be a part of some videos that you have experienced, probably the best way to get a hold of me right now would be to join the Operation Defender Discord server. Now, we don't really use it for gaming. Not many of us on there like play video games. I happen to run another channel called Church of Caboose, which is where I got my Corporal Church of. It's the Church of Caboose channel I do was my first YouTube channel, and it is all about, mostly about video games, but pretty much exclusively on Destiny 2. So that's where Corporal Church comes from. But anyways, this Operation Defender Discord, we have a handful of members, and so if you want to join, you get to mark off what branch you served in or you're currently in when you get into the server. And if you're like, hey, I want to be a part of the video or contribute ideas of, like, if you want to talk about the Navy, here's what my experience, or the Air Force, here's what my experience was, that'd be great. So hop on in to that server. Just again, please make sure you served in one capacity or another. Like my wife, for example, is not in the server, and then there's a couple of other people who have girlfriends and spouses who they said they would love to be in the server, but since their work didn't serve, they told their significant other, like, no, you can't do that. It's just a closed off area. So I guess it's just a little bit of history real quick on the server, because that kind of was what led to the idea of this whole channel. The server started off because I was in a bunch of Facebook veteran groups, mostly Marine Corps, because that's the branch I was in. And I noticed a lot of folks were saying things in Facebook that they either didn't realize may not be the best things to say in public. Like employers don't necessarily like knowing a staff member of theirs might be suicidal or addicted to alcohol or what have you. And I was like, what if there was a place to have where you could talk about your issues in your life, get help, seek advice, to kind of connect with other people, maybe get jobs, that kind of thing, without having to have the whole world know about it. And so that's where the Discord server came from, because you can use make up your own name, so no one will necessarily know it's you. You can put down a different picture, no one will really know it's you. And the only people that can see what you are posting about are the folks that are in that server. And so it's just a much safer place, in my opinion, to talk about and try and get help. Not that it's not okay to get help on Facebook. I'm not trying to say something like Facebook or Twitter is a terrible place to be like, hey, I need some help. Can anyone help me? Like, if we need help, can get some doggone help you. But I don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of nice for folks to have more of a private, anonymous place to vent about whatever and just seek help without having to worry about perhaps employers or family members or whoever being able to see what you are posting. Alright, so now let's get back to some background on myself. And you moved. Hey, can I get some kisses? Oh yeah. There's Winnie Rose. Winnie Beatrice Rose. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of the background on me. And if you can't tell, I got my laptop pulled up here because a lot of these videos I will have research done. Like I'll have articles posted for things that make sense. I'll try very hard for this channel to be based on facts. There'll be some opinions. And I will be sure when I say it's my opinion, I will say in my opinion or from my understanding, something that lets you know it's not necessarily a fact. And if I look something up and I have an article, I'll have like links in the description box down below. I will probably reference it and be like, well, according to blah, 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 and then go on with it. So you'll be able to tell the difference, because I feel like that's really important when we're talking about debunking myths of like stereotypes, effects of perhaps when you get out as far as jobs go, all kinds of stuff. I feel like it just would be a better experience for all of you if I use facts. And something about me is I like trying to have very open dialogue. So if you want to have me cover topics, or if you would like to perhaps appear on an episode or a video, whoops, I kicked the box a little bit, and cover some topics with me, you could be like, the war on Afghanistan was an atrocity and it was terrible, and I will have a good conversation with you, and we can totally do it as long as we're not like attacking each other. If you come after me then on the video, then I guess that's your choice. But I want you guys all to feel like you don't have to be pro-military to be a part of this whole shebang. Like you can be like very skeptical. Like the whole point is to educate everybody about military, what it's like to go in, basically everything like fitness, all that fun goodness. So I grew up in Iowa. I was born in Texas, so go figure. If you're one of the veterans, you probably know about you can throw a stone and you have a hard time not hitting a Marine veteran from Texas. But I was born in Texas, grew up in Iowa, and that's where I pretty much spent most of my life until I joined the military. So I started working on farms and stuff when I was around 11 or 12, and I mean, a benefit of being from the Midwest is that it's not uncommon to have friends or know people that run a farm. And so we got to help with like detasseling, baling hay, feeding cattle. I gave birth to a calf once. That might explain some stuff in my personal life. But anywho, that sounded really weird. That's okay. The whole point here is to be yourself. So anyhow, so then I did all that stuff. I was like, hey, eventually I wanted a real job. Detasseling was just a summer thing. I'd make enough money in 3 weeks for a little tween self to have what I want needed for the whole year of having fun and whatever. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of basically being brutalized for 3 weeks. So I want to get a quote unquote real job. So I became a lifeguard. and I taught swimming lessons and helped coach swim teams, all kinds of stuff. Did that off and on for about 13 years or so. And I've joined the Marines when I was 18, and I turned 19 in boot camp. The reason I joined the Marines, we'll get into more detail on my next video, which is debunking the myth of the reason people join the military is because they had another option. But I ended up joining the Marines because in high school I developed a love and a talent for music. I played saxophone, mostly tenor sax, and I got, I guess quote, people would say I got really, really good, and I ended up wanting to be a band director. And then around my senior year of high school, a recruiter hit me up and was like, hey, you should try out for the band and whatever. And I did, and I got into the Marine Corps band, and that's what I did. So boot camp and Marine combat training, and then rifle qual every year, PFT, all that stuff. But then I did lots of parades and goodness. While I was in the Corps from 2011 to 2015 as a fire team leader, I ran the information and support services, if I'm saying that in the right order, part of our unit. That was basically, I was the IT guy, and that had some great perks. I was like, oh sure, Sergeant that just yelled at me for sneezing, I'll get your internet back. I'll be right on that. 6 months later, they got internet again. That was great, and perhaps not the best of me, but I've changed. I'm a changed man since then. I don't think I do that anymore, but at the time I was pretty proud of myself. Anywho, so I got honorable discharge in 2015. That is another video topic I thought we'd go over, because I noticed with Onision from the Air Force that if you follow any of the YouTube drama at all, he had at one point at least brought up that an other than honorable is still an honorable discharge, and it's like the same thing, and they're not. And I feel like that could get really confusing for folks, especially if you happen to be like on a hiring committee and you see someone has anything other than an honorable discharge. You might be like, well, I don't know what that means. It can't be that bad. And then maybe you assume honorable is a lot harder to attain than it actually is, and so that's a different video concept. But anyway, so when I got out of the Corps, I left as a corporal, as an NCO. In the Marines, if you're familiar with other branches, you start having the non-commissioned officer rank structure, like leadership roles, at E4. Army, you can have it at E4. If I'm wrong, someone that's actually from the Army, let me know down below. I said some Army friends, I'm pretty sure I'm right. They have said you can either be a specialist or a corporal, and if you become a corporal, you have more leadership power, but you're basically like, I don't know, the bitch of basically everyone else that's in a leadership position. Whereas if you stay specialist, which is E4, you're kind of like an extra overpaid E3, and so you don't have as much stress to go through, and it's like a different career path. Just let me know down below. And by the way, that's another video idea, is I've noticed for enlisted with at least Marines and Army, I have to check out Navy and Air Force. So if you're a Navy or Air Force guy, let me know. We can do a video of this together. I know that our Marines and Army have rank structures that split based off of if you want to stay in charge of your job, or do you want to become in charge of like a whole base or like a regiment. So that could be another interesting video for people to look at and maybe consider with their careers. But anywho, so when I got out to go to school. I was going to get my bachelor's degree in criminology and criminal justice from Iowa State. Excuse me. And when I did get out, I met my wife like 3 months later. I met her in December of 2015, started dating, got engaged in like July of 2016, got married in July of 2017. I graduated Iowa State in December of 2017, and then like 3 days later, my wife and I moved to Colorado, which is where we're currently located. We're in like the Denver area. So there you go. That's just kind of a real quick look on my life. I've done lots of leadership roles, whether it was in the Marines. I've ran a fitness store. I ran a complete nutrition when I was in school. I've worked with police as a community service officer. I did try to get hired as a cop, and this will be probably a video we get into much later. And anyway, that's where I got my degree in criminology and criminal justice. Took a lot of law classes. I found constitutional law to be very interesting, and like how like the police can do what they do and all kinds of stuff. This was a very interesting area to me. So I took lots of law. And then when I moved to Colorado, I ran more pool stuff, became a aquatics director for a summer. I worked as an armed security guard in downtown Denver, had some gangs and lots of drugs that we were working around, and not that we were using the drugs, to clarify, the people that we were protecting were oftentimes high off their skulls on something, but met some great dudes. Met a couple of cool guys. I mean, that could be a whole other thing. It's just an experience from working in downtown Denver. Alright, so let's wrap this video up with 5 things that matter to me. I figure this is kind of important because I want to adjust this just a little bit. There we go. I figure this is kind of important because my goal with this video is to introduce myself, let you guys get to know me, hopefully show you that I am an open dialogue, reasonable kind of person. I called into a talk show about Mr. Atheist to discuss if the military was a cult or not, and it was on his most recent The Line show from February 4th, I think was the date of it, or something like, I don't know. It was this past Sunday, and today is the 12th. So I guess more like the February 9th then, I guess. So if you want to check that out, go for it. And it's like, hey, it's like, if people want to know more about me, maybe I should share with them some stuff that I really care about. So, excuse me, here is a list of 5 things, or issues, whatever, that mean a lot to me. I try to make them very broad and overarching, because in case someone wants to be like, in a future video, well, this doesn't fall under one of the 5 things that you said you really care about, like, that's cool. If I want it to be really broad, that way maybe people don't feel as shafted in case they only watch the channel because of these 5 things. So, number 5, stereotypes. Stereotypes exist for everybody. Literally everybody that, in my limited world experience, has a stereotype about them. It could be good or bad. Bad stereotypes obviously are awful, but you know, some stereotypes, when they're really good, not the worst. Like, I know Marines, we own the stereotype about eating crayons. Like, I'm not sure why, because you know, the joke is Marines are so dumb they eat crayons, and then for whatever reason we're like, yeah, we eat crayons. Like, oh, that means we're super tough. And so, I don't know, that's just kind of, I guess, an example of the stereotype. But it was supposed to probably be bad, but we kind of turned into something we own. And, I don't know, that's just the thing. Then another deal would be criminal justice. Number 4 on the list of 5 things I care about. Number 4 is criminal justice. So, a lot of folks are like, hey man, like, how come you're not a cop? You have a degree in criminology, criminal justice, and fortunately that part's out of my control. I'm not on the hiring committee for any of those departments, but I just find the law and stuff to be very interesting. I noticed there's been a lot of turmoil in the news and the public about police officers and like police brutality and interrogation tactics, and I have at least a little bit more of an insider view of how and why some of those things are the way that they are. And I'm not going to say that they're all right. Personally, I think it's a little ridiculous that one of the loopholes around basic human rights in an interrogation is that your police are only allowed to interrogate somebody that they are convinced committed the crime, which allows them, that little loophole allows them to do some more stuff like, oh, you're not going to see your kids again until you confess and just tell us you did it, or you know, we're going to help you, like, we're here to help you, like, just tell us you did it, man. Like, just, we can't help you until you tell us you did it. Like, some really weird mind games that would mess with adults and are used on teens. Like, adults fall for a lot of these tactics of, well, the court system, like, I'm innocent, I didn't do it, and so, like, obviously they're not gonna have evidence to, like, put me away, so I want to say I did it so I can go home and do my job or pick up my kids or whatever, and then they get thrown in jail because the jury usually cares way more about a confession. Anyways, that leads to a whole other series of ideas for videos about basically how not to get thrown in jail when you didn't do it. Like that. I guess you sum it up by just don't say you did it. But anyways, number 3 on this list, just scrolling down a little bit, helping people to know all their options. This falls a little bit into the stereotype video we'll talk about in the next video about debunking the myth that you only join the military because you have no other option. In fact, most people who can join the military have several options. I was going to say tons of options, but that's probably not 100% true. So we're just going to say several options. And I just want folks to know all their options, that hey, these are what some of the different branches provide. Like if you want to do like lots of flight things and really high-tech kinds of stuff, Marines can offer that, but maybe the Air Force or now the Space Force. Good God, Space. Winnie Rose, what are we going to do about the Space Force? I don't know either. Would probably be the better providers for it. If you want to do nuclear things, like I know the Navy has nuclear submarine jobs even for enlisted, so you could start doing like nuclear engineering kinds of stuff. And I just want folks to know all of their options, good, bad, because the military is not just a bed of roses. There's a lot of good stuff, there's a lot of bad stuff, and so I just want folks to know all of their options when they make decisions, especially because if you're deciding to be enlisted, you're probably 16, 17, maybe 18. If you're deciding to be an officer, you're probably in your early 20s, getting ready to try and split up OCS, Officer Candidate School, into 2 different summers, so you might be a sophomore in college considering this. And I'm currently going through the officer process myself, trying to go back, and that'll probably be another thing we do, is comparing some different processes of officer versus enlisted. But anyways, number two on the list is mental health/health. So specific to veterans, I mean, everyone has mental health issues, but my feeling is that we don't talk much about how we can actually try to help reduce things like depression and divorce rates and all kinds of stuff while a service member is currently serving. There are some for when folks get out. Elizabeth Warren at one point mentioned she had a plan for if she got elected, and then she kind of released at least part A of part B of the plan, and office reference, and it was basically throw more money at the VA, which I'm not sold that would actually work, and that could be another video idea we can talk about. And that would be great if you have like a psychologist or perhaps someone who's more versed in all the mental health things than I am, if they wanted to let me know, and we could do something together, just to kind of, that could be another topic. And then number 1 is suicide. That has been a huge problem plaguing the service member and, I guess, more publicly the veteran community. I had people when I was active duty that tried to kill themselves, not necessarily in my charge, but we'd hear so-and-so try to do whatever. Folks who get put on suicide watch at hospitals to try and make sure that while they're there, the person doesn't do anything else stupid. And then since getting out, I had a childhood friend. I only knew him for a couple of years. His dad was a rabbi. Apparently he committed suicide, I was told less than 6 months into joining the Army. Could have been under a year. But my first gut was that I was told he did less than 6 months after joining the Army, and he killed himself. And that actually was the final straw for me starting the Discord server and really trying to get serious with doing this YouTube stuff. Yeah, he was a good kid. There were several years in between us knowing each other. But anyways, he was kind of the Kickstarter for all of this stuff, so maybe I can turn some good, I guess, out of that inspiration to help folks out. So on that, I guess, sad note, so sorry for that. We're going to wrap this up. I hope you guys feel like you know me better, that you're interested in this channel, and if you are and you want to kind of keep up to date, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. If you're a part of the service member veteran community, join the Discord server down below. And if you would like to be part of videos and share ideas and co-stream and whatever, I would have to figure out how to actually co-stream. Now I'm going to have to learn technology to do some of the stuff that I want to do. But I would love to try and figure out how to make all of that stuff work. Thank you guys all so much for your time. If you have requests of topics, I already have the next video planned out. It'll be debunking the myth of only people that join the military are ones that have no other options. If you have other topic ideas and things, let me know down below in the comment section, and I will do my best to get to all of them, or at least try to find some. I don't know. I'll find a way of saving all of them. Anyways, guys, I am Corporal Church. Thank you so much for watching. And until next week, stay safe, and, alright, I don't know why I said next week. See, I'm still figuring out how I'm going to open and end these things. I am Corporal Church. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time.